Hi, everyone. If I haven't met you, I'm Paulo Blank. I'm the president of the university. Welcome to the Wolak Library and Learning Commons, a building that we unveiled in 2016. We had the ribbon cutting and reception. And if you have a few minutes, if you've not been here before, tour this beautiful building that Ed made possible, you really should. If you go all the way to the top floor on the far end of the building, there's a wonderful sort of quiet room that has these beautiful little lounge chairs. And when we cut the ribbon, and I was bringing some of our trustees through the building and touring. It took us about 20, 25 minutes to get to that part of the building, and there was already a student asleep in one of those comfortable chairs. Like, did you run upstairs to take a nap? Like, how did you pull this off so quickly? But it is an amazing building, and we never walk past it or into it without thinking of Ed and Debbie's generosity. We're delighted to have Ed here, of course, today for the unveiling of his portrait, which is long overdue, along with Debbie and his daughter, Kim, and their two grandsons, Tyler and Jackson. SNHU wouldn't be what it is today. You know, we just finished a commencement this weekend, 4 ceremonies, 2 days, 15,000 students graduating. We're now the largest university in the country, serving about 180,000, 4,000 students who are fully enrolled here on this campus. And the stories are amazing. The diversity is amazing. Everything from triplets who graduated from our undergraduate campus program. They're like a very happy family this weekend who just feel like they hit the lottery, no more triple tuition bills. To a great grandmother who is in her late 60s, decided to go back after putting her own kids through college and working. We had just twin sisters, nurses who work at Elliott, who finished their BSN degrees with us while working double shifts during a pandemic and still somehow managed that. And then at one point, I was watching a family take photos, and this woman in her gown with her, I guess, husband and 6 kids. I had to go and say, how did you do this? And she works full time. And they drove up all the way from Mississippi because it was cheaper than having that many airfares, even with gas prices, to come here. But my point in all of that is that I often say, we often serve people for whom there are no handouts, they're not entitled, they work very hard to get to the finish line. And it's Ed's story. Those of you who know Ed know that he grew up in Manchester. He he was the first in his family to attend college, so first generation, like myself and many of our students. He paid his way. He was sweeping floors, later baking at a local Dunkin' Donuts. So he learned to bake at a Dunkin' Donuts where his mom worked. And upon graduation, he was invited to manage 3 Dunkin' Donut locations, continuing to learn all aspects of the business. Taking all he learned here and that very hands-on experience, he bought and opened his first store in Portland, Maine in 1975. And over a drink sometime, and it's better stories if you do it over a drink, Ed will regale you with stories of that rough and tumble first store, in which, you know, having to carry something in his hand to get safely to the car at the end of the night at closing time. But it's a remarkable story, and today he now owns more than 95 Dunkin' Donuts franchises in Maine, New Hampshire, upstate New York, and is president and CEO of the Wolak Group. Ed's been a champion of our most innovative programs to serve some of our most underserved learners. So when we were looking for employer partners for our competency-based program, which was a pioneering program, Ed was one of the very first people to put his hand up and say, we need this. And he's just been a tireless advocate and a generous advocate for our students and lots of others. I see Dan Raymond is here from the Manchester Boys and Girls Club, and there's a wonderful wing that I get to see Ed cut the ribbon on not so long ago, again, in his name. Ed, everyone here is so grateful for your presence. I got to work with you as you served on our board. I worked with you? For you, yeah. I kind of did. Ed was one of my 26, and then we got rid of a bunch of them, so 14 bosses on my board. But the last person who would ever want to sort of see us leave was Ed, and of course, we have a limit on the number of terms you can serve. So last year we said goodbye. But part of that goodbye was the gift of this portrait, which you'll see in just a little bit. But Ed, thank you on behalf of the board, on the SNHU community, for all the students you've helped, and for this building that Ken Nevison, who's our dean, was saying a few minutes ago. It sits here sort of like the sort of cathedral on the hill. It's the place that is the center of gravity for this whole campus, and it is indeed a beautiful building. And that will be graced with your beautiful face in a framed portrait. I'd like to now invite Steve Robichaud up, who is our associate dean. Alex Manouche, who is our dean of the library, is sick, so it's the days in which we live, and thought it would be better not to come in here. We agreed with him. So, Steve, if you please come up and make comments.
Thank you, Paul. Can everyone hear me okay? Great. So, as Paul said, my name is Steve Robichaud, and I'm the Associate Dean of the University Library. As Paul also said, Alex Manouche, our Interim Dean of the Library, unfortunately is not here to be with us today, so I will be making some remarks in his absence. If you do not know me, you then do not know that I am not the best at off-the-cuff stuff. I don't riff well, so I do have some already prepared remarks that I would just like to share. So, the Edward S. Wolak Library Learning Commons, aka the WLLC, aka the Wolak, empowers SNHU students to learn and grow in our modern, complex, and interconnected world. Built in 2014 and then rededicated in the fall of 2016 to honor Ed Wolak's generosity and leadership, the building that you are now in sees more than 200,000 visitors annually and supports the academic and research needs of SNHU students in the entire SNHU community. The Wolak Library Learning Commons houses a variety of wonderful teams and resources. There's the Shapiro Library, which includes the university's physical library collections, the Innovation Lab and Makerspace, the university archives, and numerous areas for students to either work independently or collaboratively, as well as the great Wolak Learning Center, the IT Help Desk, and the Center for Teaching and Learning. As the university evolves and grows, the teams that live in the Wolak are always finding new ways to provide the best academic services and support for SNHU students. And as for Ed Wolak, he has had a long-lasting relationship with and has made a great impact on the SNHU community. First as a student, then as a successful alum, generous benefactor, and, as Paul stated, member of the SNHU Board of Trustees. With his help, SNU can continue working to make college more accessible and affordable for all students. And on behalf of the Shapiro Library and all of us at the Wolak, we thank you, Ed, for your dedication to Southern New Hampshire University. And now, I'd like to introduce the artist responsible for the portrait that is being unveiled today, Mr. Richard Whitney.
Thank you very much. I'm very honored to be here. I painted nearly 400 portraits all over the country, and in that course of time, I've met many remarkable people. Of course, Ed and his wife Debbie are among them. And this is my third portrait for the university. I did Eddie Shapiro, and then Dick Gustafson, and User. And Eddie talked at length about what it was like being here when he helped students who were in trouble staying on school. And one story that I remember he said was that he had a student that was late or didn't attend many classes, and so he called him up, and the student said, I can't afford tuition and a car payment. So the school ended up paying his car payments. So I was talking to Paul about this story, and I said, how many students you have here today? And he said, 180,000. I said, oh my God, should I even tell this story? And he said, no, please do, because we have programs here where we try to help every student here who has any problems to stay in school and graduate. And I'm saying, I'm so honored to be, have my work at such a wonderful university. Thank you so much.
Well, a lot that I'm going to say, Paul's already told you. He has, and he didn't even look at his notes hardly. I'm going to have to. Can you hear me? Okay. Well, I have to say that I've never had a portrait painting done of me. The closest thing has been a selfie. Except for the halo over my head that the frame blocks when you see it. Um, I'm flattered. I want to thank everyone for taking the time to be here and to those who are responsible for this most extraordinary painting. To have your likeness captured in perpetuity is a strange feeling. And to have it done by a painter of Richard Whitney's caliber is such a privilege. He is universally recognized as one of America's true masters of contemporary realism, and I am humbled to be among a long list of far more famous and notable people that Richard has painted. As I stand here, I'm reminded that long after we are gone, this portrait will be viewed by future generations. The internal spirit and energy of this artwork will provide a sense of connection, history, inspiration for the Southern New Hampshire University community. And for that, I am again humbled and forever grateful. But as flattered as I am by Richard's portrait, it's not what you look like, but what you do that matters. One could say that it was my stewardship and contributions to this great university that justifies this honor. But I think of my relationship with Southern New Hampshire University as a lifelong partnership. Some of you might be sitting and standing out there thinking, who is this dude? That they decided to memorialize my image. Well, to make a long story short, some of you might remember the 1980s commercial, Time to Make the Donuts, with Fred the Baker. At that time, I was a much younger version of Fred, making the donuts at the Dunkin' on Elm Street here in Manchester. I started with Dunkin' when I was 16, sweeping the floors. Soon after graduation, I set a goal to own and operate 5 Dunkin' franchises before age 30. I easily surpassed that goal. Today, I'm the president and CEO of the Wolak Group, a real estate developer and operator of almost 100 Dunkin' locations. It varies between 95 and 100 depending on the COVID day. But if you walk into a Dunkin' in northern New Hampshire, southern Maine, or upstate New York, chances are it is owned and operated by the Wolak Group, with my accomplished and lovely daughter Kim as Chief Operating Officer, who is also here today. There she is. It was here where I learned about business, finance, marketing, and helped launch me on a career with Dunkin', even though I didn't have a penny in my pocket. I like to think that my Wolak Learning Commons endowment helps students get started here. And the Wolak Learning Center, located on the 2nd floor, helps students with their academics stay and finish here. The university dedicated these as recognition of my philanthropy, but I'm only paying back the gratitude I have for the lifelong lessons learned here. Just as an aside, my mother attended the ceremony to place the family name on this building. That was especially poignant because this was just a few months before she passed. My mom was a crew member at Dunkin' when I first started working with the brand, and she and my dad were both hardworking, law-abiding, and self-sufficient. They were fortunate to have all 5 of their children become happy and successful adults. I often reflect on the sacrifices they must have made to have supported 5 children to adulthood. I was the first in my family to go to college, and when I came to what has become Southern New Hampshire University, it was a sleepy place with classrooms above a variety of nondescript storefronts in downtown Manchester. I spent one semester at the old downtown location, and thanks to the vision of former presidents Gertrude and Ed Shapiro, who had the foresight to purchase this property, I transitioned to that campus for the next school year. And look at Southern New Hampshire University today. It's widely recognized as one of the nation's most innovative organizations and fastest growing universities. At Southern New Hampshire University, I was able to attend evening classes, which allowed me to work at Duncan as the night baker. Evening classes also enabled me to juggle my schedule and substitute electives for marketing classes so that I could graduate with a dual major in business management and marketing. I couldn't afford much back when I started in business soon after graduation. That's why today I am a believer in affordable education. I believe higher education should be accessible to everyone. That is why, together with Southern New Hampshire University, my endowment grants multiple scholarships each year to students in need so that they can graduate and make a lasting and impactful difference in this world. The Wolak Group was the first in the nation within the quick service industry to offer free college tuition to our employees. I remember during my first class, I believe it was Business Management 101, the professor said, the definition of management was getting work done through other people. That has always stuck with me and has been a pillar to my ability to grow my company. I learned many lessons at Southern New Hampshire University and in business. A few include, whatever you choose to do, become among the most knowledgeable within that field. People are your company's most important assets. Invest and nurture in them. Your title makes you a manager. Your people make you a leader. Don't procrastinate. He who hesitates is lost. Invest in only what you know and understand. Respect is earned. Honesty is appreciated. Trust is gained, and loyalty is returned. And lastly, do the right thing, even when no one is looking. It's called integrity. So it's just me in this portrait, but really it should be of the team of people who have supported, mentored, encouraged, taught me. There aren't enough adjectives to describe the important individuals in my life, including my dear wife, Deborah, who is also here today. When I joined the board in 2012, the university was a $500 million enterprise. When I stepped off, SNU had surpassed $1 billion and is now the largest university in the country. That is so awesome. President LeBlanc, you have also been an inspiration to me for all of what you have accomplished for this university and for higher education in general. And if you happen to have his latest book, Students First, in your pocket or purse, I'm sure he'll sign it. And finally, I have great admiration for my new dear friend, Richard Whitney, who captured my image with such talent and realism, right down to the stripes on my suit coat, as you'll see in a few minutes, and his lovely, supportive, and talented wife, Sandy Sherman. So in closing, if I were to put a caption under this portrait of me, it might say that with a good education, determination, passion for your work, and grit, you too can achieve the American dream. Certainly, I had no idea when I first walked through the doors of what was then New Hampshire College, that I would be here today, standing beside this portrait to be hung inside this beautiful building. So you could say that both Southern New Hampshire University and I have grown together. Thank you.
So Debbie, would you join us? We're going to help us in the unveiling of the portrait. And Kim and Tyler and Jackson, we're going to get you up here in a moment as well, because nothing the kids like better than being in a room full of strangers. But in front of the crowd. But then would you pick a side and